Tonight, the NDP takes aim at a Tory stronghold.
Certainly, they see it is a possible win for them.
Who's running to fill the seat in Spruce Woods? And does the NDP have a shot at flipping the riding? Also tonight,
hockey culture will also only change as quickly as society as a whole changes.
Reaction pours in after all 5 former World Junior hockey players are acquitted of sexual assault. Plus, growing independence.
Less money spent at the grocery store, more fantastic tastes for your family.
How community gardens are helping people water down their grocery bills.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Catherine Dow. Marilee is away. The Manitoba NDP may be targeting a longtime PC seat as voters wait for a by-election call from the Premier. The Tories won Spruce Woods with more than 60% of the vote last time, but the Premier and his ministers have been in the area making funding announcements over the last number of weeks. CTV's Jeff Keel joins us now live. So, Jeff, does this mean the NDP believe they can win?
Possibly. The Premier does say that they are taking this seat seriously. Premier Wab Kinew and his party are eyeing up a Conservative stronghold in southwestern Manitoba with a flurry of recent visits to the area.
It's not a coincidence. And I mean, everything the Premier's been saying, obviously they have this in their sights.
The Spruce Woods seat was vacated when former PC MLA Grant Jackson jumped to federal politics. Over the last number of weeks, Premier Wab Kinew and members of his cabinet have been blanketing the area with several funding announcements. And on Thursday, Kinew introduced their candidate, real estate agent Ray Berthollet. And the Premier said his party has a chance here. Political professor Kelly Saunders agrees.
NDP is really surging throughout Manitoba. Wab Kinew is still the most popular Premier in the country. So, you know, I think they're going to give the Tories a run for their money.
But Saunders says the PC still have the edge. This is a long-time Tory constituency, and they won with more than 60% of the vote last time. The PC candidate is party volunteer Colleen Robbins.
This is a very solid team effort. We want to do what's best for Manitoba.
The Liberal Party candidate in Spruce Woods is teacher Stephen Reed.
I believe that we can make a dent. I think that now more than ever people are wanting change.
The seat has been vacant since the spring. The Premier has faced questions and criticism for not calling the by-election sooner.
I think it's a form of political strategy on his half, but it's very anti-democratic.
The people from Spruce Woods have not had representation in the Manitoba legislature.
So it seems like sometimes there's no rush for a by-election. And other times, when there's wildfires, a state of emergency, thousands of Manitobans out of their homes, the only thing the PCs can think about is call an election.
A by-election must be held by mid-September.
So, Jeff, could the NDP pay a price for the Premier delaying this by-election call?
Based on history, likely not. Political professor Kelly Saunders says while some are obviously frustrated by this delay, all premiers of all political stripes do this. They pick the timing that suits them.
All right, thanks for this, Jeff. And 3 candidates are now registered for the upcoming by-election to replace a Winnipeg councillor. Emma Durand-Wood has been living in Elmwood since 2008. She helped re-establish the Glen Elm Neighborhood Association, co-founded Trees Please Winnipeg Coalition, and is the vice chair of the Chalmers Neighborhood Renewal Corporation. Zachariah Salhadin has lived in Elmwood for 13 years and is a graduate of Elmwood High School and the University of Winnipeg, earning a degree in International Development Studies. And Carmen Prefontaine has called the ward home as both a child and adult. She serves in various executive roles with the Canadian Union of Public Employees and has 15 years experience working for the city. All 3 are looking to fill the seat left behind by the late Jason Schreier, who died suddenly in April. Voters in Elmwood, East Kildonan will head to the polls October 25th. CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady joins us now with the first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. Looking very exciting on the radar there behind you, Colleen. Lots to track this hour.
Absolutely. You may have noticed it's hot and it's humid out there. That is an increasingly unstable air mass developing over southern and central Manitoba, and it's put much of those communities under one weather alert or another. We did have a thunderstorm that moved quickly over Winnipeg in just the last half an hour or so. It was non-severe, but Winnipeg is one of those communities under a severe thunderstorm watch. Just to the west of the city, though, we have these communities in south central regions under an outright tornado watch. And then beyond that, I'll bring in all these other areas. Winnipeg to the east, Brandon to the west, all these areas lighting up in yellow under a severe thunderstorm watch. Oh, you saw that change. That's live TV, folks. Thunderstorms moving across the parts of the central part of the province that are severe. And here's a look at a cluster of them moving to the west of Norway House, traveling east, moving out onto Lake Winnipegosis. All threats are in play here. We could have damaging winds, torrential rain, sizable hail, and yes, we could even see tornadoes producing in these storms. We'll be keeping a close eye on this over the hour ahead. Let's take a look through the Bathfitter Live Eye while we're at it. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. We have a guest on the screen there, right smack dab in the middle. 31 degrees with a humidex. It feels like 38. Winds out of the south at 39 kilometers an hour. The pressure is falling, and the humidity right now, Catherine, is 53%.
Thanks, Colleen. Reaction is pouring in a day after 5 former junior hockey players were acquitted in a high-profile sexual assault trial. CTV's Daniel Halmerson joins us now live. So, Daniel, what are you hearing tonight?
Well, Catherine, I spoke with a lawyer who is a survivor of sexual abuse himself. He says hockey culture needs to change, but so does society, and adds, quote, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Look, hockey culture needs to change. There's no question about it. But this litigation, this case was not about hockey culture. This case was about a specific factual circumstance that night.
Reaction from the sporting world and beyond following the verdict in the Hockey Canada sexual assault case.
Nobody should be disappointed in what happened yesterday. Everyone should understand that what happens in court is specific to a certain set of facts, and that's it.
5 former members of Canada's World Junior team, Dylan Dubé, Cal Foote, Carter Hart, Michael McLeod, and Alex Formanton, were acquitted of sexual assault Thursday in connection with an incident in a London, Ontario hotel room 7 years ago. McLeod was also found not guilty of being a party to the offense. Greg Gilhooly, a survivor of sexual abuse by hockey coach Graham James, says just because it wasn't found to be a crime doesn't make what happened that night morally right.
What that room required was character, and there was an absence of character in that room that night. Somebody needed to step up and say, guys, I don't care what she's saying. This is wrong.
In her decision, Justice Maria Carucia says she found the complainant's testimony wasn't credible or reliable. That's a concern for Clinic Community Health's Rochelle Reddy. She says she's worried this verdict could prevent some victims from coming forward.
We truly stand in solidarity and support of those impacted by sexual violence and impacted when decisions and outcomes occur that continue to normalize sexual violence and discredit and silence persons who experience sexual violence.
She does add that if someone experiences sexual violence, it's imperative to seek help.
You are not defined by systems who normalize sexual violence. You are not defined by systems that discredit and silence your experience and your voice. And it's also important, if you've experienced sexual violence or someone close to you has experienced sexual violence, to find someone safe to talk to.
Clinic Community Health has a 24/7 crisis line for victims of sexual assault. The number is 204-786-8631.
Now, Daniel, any word from governing bodies of hockey on all of this?
Hockey Manitoba was unavailable for comment, Catherine. However, Hockey Canada released a statement yesterday which outlined its 2022 action plan centered around culture and safety in the sport. That plan includes mandatory training on sexual violence and consent.
All right, thanks for this, Daniel. Manitoba Hydro says power is out in the northern town of Leaf Rapids after an out-of-control wildfire entered the community earlier this week and destroyed some infrastructure. The Crown Corporation says it's aware of some poles and lines that are down in the community located about 900 980 kilometers northwest of Winnipeg. It says it is still unsafe to enter the town to fully assess the damage or make repairs, meaning it may be a while before power can be restored. A nearby blaze jumped the Churchill River on Wednesday evening and entered the community through its industrial area, leaving one home and several abandoned structures damaged. The town said in a Facebook post that internet connection is also out in the community, which is making it hard for officials to get information from those still on the ground. Meantime, in Snow Lake, a nearby wildfire jumped the Narrows. It took out a power line and made it to the outskirts of town. The province says it's now 1 kilometer from town and is burning out of control. But crews and helicopters managed to keep it at bay long enough for the winds to shift and push the fire north. A mandatory evacuation order is in place for the town. 2 nearby mines and Wekusko Falls Provincial Park are closed. And the city of Thompson says crews are making good progress on an out-of-control fire some 14 kilometers to the north. It says crews are mopping up hot spots on the west side today, while helicopters and other crews are working on the eastern sides. It adds a controlled burn plan has been approved in the south. There is a total of 121 wildfires burning right now in Manitoba. 3 workers, including a Manitoban, trapped for more than 2 days at a mine in northern BC, have been rescued.
What the response has shown is that safety protocols work. Incredible that Kevin, Darren and Jesse did exactly what they were trained to do, and because of that they stayed safe for more than 60 hours until we could bring them to surface and home.
The men were brought to the surface last night shortly after 10:30 p.m. local time. The 3 work for a drilling company that says there was a euphoric response to their rescue. They are being reunited with their families now and will soon be back in Smithers, BC, where the company is based. Workers had been trapped by 2 rock falls that blocked an access tunnel. We'll have more on how the rescue unfolded a little later. A man is being heralded for rescuing a 2-year-old boy who nearly drowned near Portage La Prairie. It happened last Friday at Delta Beach. Mounties say the boy was pulled from the water after going under and was not breathing. They say the 29-year-old ran over to help the boy's family, administered CPR until the child began coughing, and stayed with them until EMS arrived. The child was taken to hospital as a precaution in stable condition, and police say he will make a complete recovery. The car belonging to a Manitoba senior who's been missing for over a week has been found. RCMP say Stuart Campbell was last seen around 3:30 a.m. on July 15th. Mounties released this image of the 69-year-old. Campbell's vehicle was found on a road east of Starbuck Thursday morning. RCMP's search and rescue unit is conducting a ground and aerial search. Police say he may be confused and disoriented, and officers are concerned for his well-being. People living in the area where the vehicle was found are asked to check for any signs of the missing man. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to call 911 or RCMP. A restoration project is underway to preserve and refurbish a piece of Manitoba's past. The Nette Sanatorium on the shores of Pelican Lake in southwestern Manitoba has sat vacant for nearly a quarter century. The sanatorium was built in 1909 to treat patients with tuberculosis. It closed in 1972, and in the following decades, the site was used as a care center for patients with intellectual disabilities and briefly as a Christian conference center. A new owner took possession of the historic site in June 2023, and since then has been working to restore it. That's welcome news for the area's Reeve, who says he's excited to see work underway.
It's wonderful for the community, for our municipality. Hopefully we'll create more reason for people to come to our area and enjoy what we have to offer. So anytime we can bring tourism to the municipality, we certainly greatly support that.
The owner of the site, Jeff Gregoire, tells CTV News the project includes converting some of the building into apartments and a museum. He says it's still in the beginning stages and is expected to be a multi-year project. The first business on the reclaimed land that was once Capillon Barracks is now officially open.
3, 2, yeah. Yeah. One. Cut.
Treaty 1 nations hosted a grand opening for the Udena Gas and Convenience Store. It's the first business to open on the 109 acres of land now known as Noe Udena. The gas station is owned by the 7 Treaty 1 First Nations and employs 25 people, 96% of whom are First Nation members. Officials say it integrates principles of collaboration and reconciliation.
This has been a major paradigm shift in how we work together, not only as collective First Nations, but also on the intergovernmental relational level.
The grand opening leads into the 4th annual Anishinaabe Day celebrations, which will be celebrated this weekend at Nawe Udena. Cucumbers, carrots, strawberries, and raspberries. These are just some of the plants growing in Winnipeg community gardens, and the practice is reducing grocery bills. CTV's Harrison Shin takes you into 2 of the many gardens blooming around the city.
Looks like someone really digs gardening. This is Stu and Debbie Innes. Heat and humidity won't stop them.
This is where we grow our produce and flowers. And we wouldn't be without it. It's great.
The couple planted flowers and fruits, but they didn't stop there.
In terms of vegetables, I guess there's beans, peas, pole beans. We do have a little bit of broccoli this year. We have had cabbage in past. And different kinds of strawberries, squash, zucchini, cucumbers.
And that means they don't have to buy a lot of vegetables from the store, and that saves them a bunch of money.
It helps a lot. I'm able to freeze a lot of product, fruits, strawberries, beans of all kinds, peas.
Pamela McFarlane is the president of the St. Vital Agricultural Society. She is a fellow gardener herself, and she is also saving money.
We love them. Those big boxes of strawberries, anywhere from $20 to $30. I just come to the garden and eat my way around the garden. So if I bought a $20 box of strawberries every week, and my typical summer is about 8 weeks, you can guess right there, I've saved $200.
McFarlane isn't afraid of the dirt, and she is advocating others to do the same.
Gardening, not too hard, but there is some work. Definitely the rewards, less money spent at the grocery store, more fantastic tastes for your family, and during the middle of the winter, pull something out of the freezer or off the shelf and you can enjoy it until the spring.
Harrison Shin, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Now to an important update for Winnipeg commuters. The Louise Bridge is going to be closed even longer because the city found more defects on the bridge. The bridge initially closed May 23rd for an inspection and maintenance. However, works found corrosion requiring repairs. It was set to reopen at the end of July. In an update shared today, the city says it'll remain closed until early September for the extra repairs. The city did not say what the additional defects were. It's asking drivers to be patient and use the Disraeli Bridge or Provencher Bridge in the meantime. Still ahead, the shifting goalposts from U.S. President Donald Trump that are causing trade turmoil for Canada.
We haven't really had a lot of luck with Canada.
The fallout as a trade deal with the U.S. appears increasingly unlikely. Plus, we'll have more on the rescue of those 3 workers who were trapped for days in a mine in northern B.C. Good news for post-secondary students looking for help paying for their schooling. The province says they no longer need to apply for a student aid loan in order to qualify for a federal grant. Advanced Education and Training Minister Renee Cable says full-time students enrolled in 8 months of study for the 2025-26 school year may be eligible for up to $4,200 in Canada student grants. Previously, you needed to apply for a loan in order to qualify. More information can be found on Manitoba Student Aid's website. Turning to the markets now, crude oil slipped 87 cents. The loonie fell below 73 cents U.S. Gold futures lost nearly $38. The TSX added 122 points. The Dow Jones jumped 208 points. And the NASDAQ also closed higher. An area of Westman is getting some upgrades to highways and bridges. Today, the province announced $115 million in improvements to highways 2, 5, and 34.
In rural Manitoba, people often spend a lot of time on the road. And I can tell you from firsthand experience that some of the roads nearby here could use some more attention.
The announcement was made in Glenborough, just south of Spruce Woods Provincial Park, home of the Spirit Sands and Devil's Punch Bowl, popular tourism attractions. The improvements will lift trucking weight restrictions on Highway 5. It's hoped better highways will benefit local farmers and the local tourism industry.
The highways that will be getting upgraded are an important support system to follow farmers to get their product to market and bring consumers, tourism, and economic development to our community.
2 bridges will also be replaced over the Assiniboine River, one on Highway 34 north of Holland, the other bridge at Spruce Woods Park. First, it was July 21st. Then the date for a trade deal with the U.S. was moved to August 1st. Now, Donald Trump says a final deal may not happen at all, making tariffs an unavoidable reality for the Canadian economy. As negotiations between Ottawa and Washington continue behind the scenes, the U.S. president seems intent on creating economic chaos and confusion. CTV's Abigail Beeman in Ottawa now with more on where Canada goes from here.
U.S. President Donald Trump says most trade deals will be finished by August 1st. But as for us,
we haven't really had a lot of luck with Canada. I think Canada could be one where they'll just pay tariffs. Not really a negotiation.
Hot on the heels of senior Canadians declaring progress and encouragement after D.C. meetings.
I had a productive, cordial discussion meeting with Secretary Lutnick.
We don't have a deal with Canada. We haven't been focused on it.
It looks like we're trying to negotiate with the guy at the reception desk. Commerce Secretary Lutnick's not going to make decisions.
Ottawa has certainly been focused on Washington.
I hope the Prime Minister and the government will start doing is being a little bit more forceful in putting out exactly what we're going to do in terms of preparing workers who are going to be affected.
The hit is starting to be material and financial in nature.
The Canadian Chamber of Commerce says the months of uncertainty are toxic for business.
It's not going to go away on August 1st, even if we have a temporary deal, because we are facing a real review of CUSMA, which is the big one.
But for now, all eyes are focused on August 1st, with no one having a clear idea of what will happen before the day the president has threatened to impose 35% tariffs on all goods not covered by CUSMA. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
There is relief at a remote mine in northern British Columbia today. 3 workers who were trapped underground for more than 2 days are now safely on the surface following a complex rescue operation. CTV's Reagan Hasegawa is following the developments.
After more than 60 hours trapped deep underground, these scenic views of the Red Chris mine are a sight for sore eyes.
3 workers from high-tech drilling who were safely brought to surface last night. They are being reunited with their families early this morning. We are deeply relieved that all 3 individuals are safe and in good health and spirits.
One worker described the ordeal as a wild week and said he was glad to be out of there. The diamond drillers from BC, Manitoba, and Ontario were rescued faster than experts had expected, thanks to their quick thinking and the help of new technology.
Safety protocols work. Incredible that Kevin, Darren and Jesse did exactly what they were trained to do, and because of that, they stayed safe.
The trio got trapped Tuesday after 2 rock falls in the access tunnel. They were able to get to a refuge chamber equipped with everything they needed to survive for weeks, but they did lose all communication.
We do the daily inspections, we do monthly inspections, we actually do second line of defense inspections with teams from external to observe and see. This one that caught us by surprise.
Experts say these kinds of rock falls are rare.
It's just nothing but uncertainty, radical uncertainty.
He says it appears everything was done to prevent the disaster, but the nature of the work is unpredictable.
They were probably drilling holes for explosives. What they were building was a ramp, or what was known as a decline into the underground.
He expects we'll soon be hearing about these kinds of situations more often.
See, BC is really open pit mining country, and it has been for a while. Very few underground mines. We're going to see more underground mines because of the demand for metals.
BC may lead the industry in safety, but experts warn automation is the next step to prevent future emergencies. The open pit mine at Red Chris is resuming operations, but the underground project will remain closed until the investigation is complete. Reagan Hasegawa, CTV News, Vancouver.
2 leaders of the massive Freedom Convoy protest in Ottawa 3 years ago will be sentenced on October 7th. The Crown is looking for prison terms of 7 and 8 years, respectively, for Tamara Leach and Chris Barber. They were both found guilty of mischief last April. The lawyers for the pair are seeking absolute discharges, which means neither would have a criminal record. Heavy rain is once again causing flooding and power outages in the Quebec City region. Nearly 50 millimeters of rain fell in 2 hours this morning, causing flash flooding and some road closures. In Quebec City, 2 vehicles were trapped when an underpass quickly filled up with water. There were no reported injuries.
It was really majestic. It was a bit emotional.
Why this Alberta hiking guide spent days out on the trails in Banff and his big reward at the end. That's next.
A cloudier start to the long-range forecast for Winnipeg Sunday. There's still the possibility of showers. The chance is starting to diminish, but certainly still possible, even a thunderstorm too. 25 degrees. Then we get into next week and similar temperatures, 24, 25, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. All those days, either a mix of sun and cloud or sunny skies. Then we heat up again by Thursday. Mostly sunny skies with a warm high of 27 degrees.
You're being asked to keep your eyes out for a man who escaped custody Thursday night. RCMP say 26-year-old Byron Roulette was arrested by Manitoba First Nations Police Service earlier in the day. He was last seen around 7:30 p.m. in the 500 block of 5th Street Southeast in Portage La Prairie. Mounties say he was in handcuffs, had blood stains on his shoes, and was wearing gray and brown shorts. He was also shirtless. People in Portage are also asked to be on the lookout for any suspicious activity. Anyone with information should call 911 or RCMP. An Alberta hiking guide spent days on the trail of Banff National Park with one goal: find the elusive bison herd living in the majestic mountain wilderness. Kevin Fleming tells us how he did.
He has a massive map of Banff National Park on his living room wall, and Jeff Douglas has kept track of every trail he's hiked by marking them in yellow and blue.
So mid-August to mid-September, I let my schedule as a guide be a little bit light, and if there's a 3-day or 4-day weather window, I have a very understanding wife and would see what I could accomplish during that time frame.
Douglas owns Mountain Goat Adventures and is a professional hiking guide. His wife supported his quest to hike all the trails and find the bison herd. She also made sure he was safe.
So usually at night and in the morning, Jeff will confirm via his InReach and the GPS device where he's at, if he's doing okay, if he needs anything, what his plan is for the day. So I always have an idea of the route he's taking as well, so I can track him along the way and make sure he's okay.
Parks Canada reintroduced 16 bison in the park in 2017. Since then, their numbers have grown to close to 135. They're monitored by staff who tries to make sure they stay within the park boundaries.
These bison certainly are wildlife, a lot like any other species in the park, and they're integrating into the landscape and improving the ecological integrity like we'd hoped.
This spring, on day 3 of his last 4-day hike, Douglas hit pay dirt and came across the bison.
I just sat down. I probably spent 45 minutes I didn't even pull out my phone or take my pack off. Just sat down on a rock and wanted to be present there. I've seen every animal in the park, and I don't know why, it was really majestic. It was a bit emotional. The whole project came full circle, and I had an absolutely spectacular day without a cloud in the sky.
Both he and his wife are proud of his achievement in covering over 2,000 kilometers of trails in the park and hope it inspires others to explore it. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Canmore.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Now CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady has your complete Skywatch weather forecast. You've been pretty busy the last couple of hours, Colleen, tracking some disturbances out there. What's the latest?
Well, we still have an increasingly unstable air mass that is just sitting over southern and central parts of the province, firing off lines of thunderstorms, some severe, some non-severe, and we're not done just yet. We could even see thunderstorms overnight in our regions, really. The severe thunderstorms coming through right now in some areas. Now I'll zoom in. We have a line of severe thunderstorms just moving into Norway House right now. They continue to push off to the east. So if you're in those areas, do be very careful. This is severe weather moving through your community. Further south, we do still have this area, south central Manitoba, under a tornado watch. So again, it is a watch. There are no tornadoes producing right now, but anytime you have thunderstorms that do become severe, they always do have the potential to produce tornadoes, but particularly with this mix of atmospheric conditions tonight, there is an outright watch that's put into effect. So if you are in these areas, then you'll note this watch comes right up to Winnipeg's doorstep, just on the western flank of the city, but Portage La Prairie right square within that watch zone. Just be vigilant. Other areas like Winnipeg lighting up in yellow to the east and Brandon to the west under a severe thunderstorm watch. And again, where that yellow turns to red, that's where those severe thunderstorms right now are pushing through the Norway House area. So yes, both northern and southern halves of the province getting the showers coming through tonight. And as much as we need the precipitation where those wildfires continue to burn, what we don't need are lightning strikes generated by thunderstorms. Overnight we go where again we could see thunderstorms still crossing southern Manitoba, including here in Winnipeg. A sunny start to the day tomorrow, really hot and humid once again, so there is again the potential for thunderstorms in the afternoon and into the evening. Overnight we go Saturday into Sunday where there is more rain that will cross parts of the province, including southern Manitoba, and again we could still see that rain reach Winnipeg. 20 degrees is our very warm overnight low tonight, again with that risk of severe storms this evening. The risk of non-severe thunderstorms continues overnight. Winds at their strongest this evening out of the south at 30. Light west winds tomorrow morning. Still a risk of thunderstorms in the morning. 22 degrees to start off the day, up to a hot and humid high of 31 degrees with that risk of thunderstorms returning in the afternoon. The wind shifting coming out of the northwest at 15 kilometers an hour. There's the potential for showers, even storms in Churchill, Gillam tonight, Thompson down to 13 degrees there. Mix of sun and cloud tomorrow. Now Thompson, there is the possibility of an early morning shower there. In the northwest tonight, partly cloudy for Lynn Lake down to 12, but even as far north as places like the Paw under that severe thunderstorm watch tonight, 15 overnight there. Smoky around the region tomorrow with highs of 25 degrees in most areas. In the southwest tonight, watch out for severe thunderstorms there. Brandon, Neepawa down to 15. Brandon, Dauphin, and Swan River also down to 15 degrees. Otherwise partly cloudy outside from those storms. Low chance of showers tomorrow for Brandon and Neepawa. Hot highs right around 30 degrees. And Winnipeg in the southeast, we have those storms moving through the region now. Strongest chance we'll see Morrison, Barons River and Pinawa. We can't rule them out here yet in Winnipeg, down to 20 overnight. And then tomorrow there's a low chance of showers, but there is that thunderstorm risk with hot highs approaching 30. And in northwestern Ontario, partly cloudy and warm there tonight. Ditto for your region. Hot highs 28, 29 with that low chance of showers. Now, Ray took this photo just north of Neepawa at about 2:30 this afternoon, looking west as the storms were starting to roar through that area. And then out the other way, Dawn was out recently walking along, or hiking rather, along the Pinawa Channel Heritage Walk and took that lovely photo. Send us yours to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Job performance suffers.
Having trouble staying focused? You're not alone. Up next, 6 ways to train your brain and cross more items off your to-do list. This September, Canadians are challenged to grab their smartphones and head outside. Their mission? Take a digital inventory of Canada's wildlife species and reconnect with nature in the process. And the organization behind the nationwide project, called the Great Canadian Bioblitz, is offering up some extra incentives to help mobilize more people to take up the challenge. Here to explain more, I'm joined by James Paget, a biologist with Canadian Wildlife Federation. Hello, James. Thanks so much for being with us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So let's start off by talking about the Great Canadian Bioblitz. How does it work exactly?
Yeah, so essentially it's a nationwide scavenger hunt. So the idea is for people to get outside, to connect with nature in their backyards or their hikes or wherever they are, and record everything that's living under the sun that they can find, from plants to birds to insects, and record it using the iNaturalist app so that we can take an inventory of everything we find across the country.
And so why are these observances so important? What do you do with this data?
Yeah, so we have this quite a large data set in Canada of observations, but scientists can't be everywhere, and we actually lack a lot of information on where species are found and distributions and timing of when things are showing up. And so all of this information can be used for conservation decisions. It sounds pretty simplistic, but we can't conserve things if we don't know it's there. And people are more likely to be interested in conservation if not only that they know it's there, but they know what it is and can have that kind of personal connection. So the Bioblitz is a bit twofold. So the information is to help make conservation decisions and planning, but also to help people kind of understand the living world around them. And you never know what you might find. We keep finding new species that have never been recorded in Canada before, that people have recorded using iNaturalist. We have an example of a tiger beetle that was recently found, hadn't been observed in Canada since the 1950s, and experts thought it was completely gone from Canada, but it's turned up again in iNaturalist.
That's pretty neat. And correct me if I'm wrong, last year was the inaugural Bioblitz.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so last year we started it. This year we're looking to make it bigger and better and engage more people as we can.
Well, I'm curious, how did it go last year? Did many folks take up the challenge?
They did, actually. It surprised me. I was thinking we would have, some uptake, but we didn't have a huge amount of lead time before because it was our first year. But we had more than 40,000 observations were recorded during it was only a 4-day Bioblitz that time. This year we're actually expanding it to a week, so it's going to be September 21st to 28th. And that last year accounted for almost half of all the observations that we had on iNaturalist were recorded as part of the Great Canadian Bioblitz.
That sounds like a great success, but you're not resting on your laurels. As you mentioned, you're trying to get some more folks involved, and to do that, you're offering up some grants. Tell me about what's exactly available and who's eligible.
Yeah, so exactly that. We're looking to encourage people to take part on their own, but also we're offering a couple of grant streams. One is for people and organizers who want to actually organize a Bioblitz, which is Bioblitz is basically, we have the nationwide one we're talking about, but a local one is getting people together to inventory a local area in a set period of time. So anybody that wants to organize one of these can apply for a Bioblitz grant, but we're also having a separate one that we're looking at specific species inventory. So we have certain species that are recorded in iNaturalist or have not yet been recorded in iNaturalist, but we know they exist here in Canada, but they haven't been found. So we're looking at, we have this priority species list that we're looking at encouraging people to record, to apply for a grant that we can provide a little bit of funding for field surveys, for travel expenses, to get out and actually try and look for some of these really obscure things that either we lack data on or haven't yet been found or not yet recorded on iNaturalist.
That sounds pretty neat. So for anyone out there who's watching who might be interested, how can they apply?
Yeah, you can check out greatcanadianbioblitz.ca. The information about the Bioblitz initiative is all there as well, but there's some guidelines for a funding stream. And the funding deadline is the end of July, so it's coming pretty quick. But it's not too rigorous to apply, so we're looking to see a lot of interesting applications and beyond that, some interesting finds throughout the Bioblitz.
And to inspire people to maybe not apply for the grants, but join you on the Blitz in September as well.
Exactly.
All right, well, we will leave it there. James, thanks so much for being with us.
Great, thank you so much.
The province is advising of one new potential measles exposure. It happened Sunday in Portage La Prairie. The province is asking people who are at Tornado's Restaurant and Lounge between 2 and 4 p.m. to monitor for symptoms until August 11th. It's also asking people who are at the restaurant during this time to ensure they are up to date with their measles vaccination. According to the most recent data from the province, as of July 19th, there were currently 158 confirmed cases of measles in Manitoba and 9 probable cases. In the digital age, the average human attention span seems to be shrinking. So if you're having trouble getting tasks done, you're not alone.
Job performance suffers, school performance suffers, relationships could suffer as well.
Psychiatrist Dr. Avita Singh says to help yourself stay focused, remember the acronym TAKE 5. T stands for take frequent breaks, A is for actively engaging with the task at hand, K is for keeping distractions at a minimum, E stands for eliminate multitasking, and finally 5 is for 5 minutes. That's about how long you may need to take a break and refocus.
Taking the time to think about these tips and figuring out how they work for your day-to-day life can be really helpful in at least starting to improve attention span, improve focus even a little bit, which can help day-to-day life a lot.
Singh says the 4 biggest reasons for a short attention span are stress, anxiety, lack of sleep, and digital devices.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic.
Returning to our top story quickly, the province has just called a by-election for the Spruce Woods riding. Election day has been set for August 26th, and advance voting will begin August 16th. Eligible voters have until August 7th to register or update their information. Just head to electionsmanitoba.ca/register.
Amik Makwa
Can now learn about your own backyard and learn a new language. We'll tell you how. That's ahead in Spotlight.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Brett Kissel.
Well, summer, of course, is in full swing, and that means there's lots to choose from. Here's a look at just some of the events taking place in Manitoba this weekend. Fringe Fest wraps up Sunday. Altona celebrates its 60th Sunflower Festival. The Manitoba Threshermen's Reunion and Stampede is on in Austin. Dugald hosts the Springfield Country Fair. Boardwalk Days returns to Winnipeg Beach. The Northwest Roundup and Exhibition rides into Swan River. Deloraine has its summer fair, while Plumas is hosting a summer fun day. Anishinaabe Days is being celebrated at Noe Odena on Keniston. Fisher River Cree Nation has a community celebration with a concert featuring Johnny Reed and Trooper. The Living Prairie Museum has its Monarch Butterfly Festival. Movies in the Square is back with the Minecraft movie in Transcona, and the Folklorama Kickoff is on at the Lyric Theatre. Well, did you know what a beaver or a bear is in Anishinaabe-Moan? The new game launched by the Manitoba Museum can teach you.
Amik Makwa.
Anishinaabe-Moan with Amik is a free interactive online game which blends visual learning with memory challenges and cultural teachings. It focuses on animals native to Manitoba that can also be found in the museum galleries. It was created in collaboration with language speakers, knowledge holders, and elders. Anishinaabe artist Michaela Gilbert created the illustrations. The game is geared toward children and youth, but can be used by anyone interested in learning Anishinaabe-Moan.
I think that it'll be especially beneficial for teachers to use in pre-visit programming, and we have upwards of 90,000 students joining us annually.
The museum hopes to expand the game to include more words and phrases as well as other Indigenous languages in the future. You can find Anishinaabe-Moan with Amik on the museum's website. Start your weekend right with Celebrity Jeopardy at 7, then stick around for Fear Thy Neighbor and cap off the night at 10:30 with E-Talk. It's all right here on CTV.
Women's clothing provided by R.W. & Company. Salon services provided by S Antique Spa Salon.
31 degrees in Winnipeg right now with the humidex. It feels like 37. Cloudier, winds out of the south-southeast at 26 kilometers an hour. Winnipeg is still under a severe thunderstorm watch tonight. Areas just to the west of the city still under a tornado watch. Highest temperature today was 31 degrees, but not a record. Tonight we could even see thunderstorms late tonight. The potential for severe storms is still in this time of the evening, but overnight if we do see storms, they should be non-severe. A risk of storms again on Saturday, otherwise sunny, 31 degrees. Showers possible Sunday, 25. Temperatures in the mid-20s for much of next week with quite a bit of sun.
Thanks, Colleen. Dozens turned out to True North Square earlier today for an opportunity to make new friends, splash around in puddle pools, and shop for new toys. Dozens of dogs, that is. Downtown Furry Fridays brought together dog lovers and their four-legged friends to socialize, play, and maybe pick up some treats.
So this is definitely a social focus activity. This is just a way to celebrate the summertime in downtown. Downtown Business is running a couple of other summer focused events, so their farmers markets, their summer concert series. So this is just one iteration of that where we want to celebrate our furry friends.
Adorable.
Yeah.
If you couldn't make it downtown for today's event, don't worry. Another Furry Fridays is planned for August 15th, again at True North Square. Goes between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Gonna have to make a stop in there.
I just missed it.
I know, I was going on right under our noses. Really could have used a pick-me-up of a couple of dogs.
That's right. Marked on the calendar for next time.
We'll be there next time. Okay, that's going to do it for us. But remember, you can watch CTV News anytime on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. And join Taylor Brock. She'll be back here for CTV News at 11:30. Good night and have a great weekend.